Welcome to Season 6, Episode 13 of the Gospelovergimmicks podcast. Today, we are going to do a special election episode, and it's going to be, as you can tell already, something else. Anyway, let's get after it. Thank you for joining me for the Gospel Overgimmicks podcast. And I don't have my notes up on the screen today. We're kind of flying solo, but I am your host, Richard Stormin Norman, here to tell you everything I know and some things I highly suspect. And I've been working on this a couple days now, getting me a little, studio set up in the garage. And this is not where we're going to record podcasts going forward. It's just that sometimes, the wife's home and I can't really record in the house. I just don't like recording when there's people in the house. I don't know why. It's just some kind of weird thing I got. I just don't like people hearing me record, so I like to do it when I'm home alone. So, we're going to call this Studio B, and whenever I'm in a situation where I have to, there's people in the house or whatnot, I can just come out to the garage and record a podcast out here. Hopefully it sounds all right. This is my old microphone, and I'm using the webcam on my old laptop. So not the best situation as compared to what I got in the house, but it'll do. It'll do. Today we're going to do, I mentioned last week's episode that revival is this week, so I really don't have time to put an episode together the way usually I would with all kinds. I do got some notes here, but not many. This is mainly just going to be me commentating, so to speak. But we're going to talk about the election. People been, the question that people ask a lot: how can a Christian vote for Trump? Well, I'm going to talk to you about that today, and But before we get into that, like I said, I don't have a note, so I don't have, some things I want to talk about in the opening segment, but it's a little bit warm. And I don't know if y'all can see a little glistening on my head here. A little bit warm in the garage today. I don't think it was this warm yesterday, but I don't know. I got the fan on. Hopefully y'all can't hear it, but I got the fan on back here. I got the window right here open. But, it is Florida, and summer has a hard time just letting go. Whenever fall, it's fall now, and summer's just still hanging on. But today I'm recording this is on Sunday, and tomorrow is my anniversary, my 1-year anniversary. So happy anniversary to my wife, who don't even watch this, but in case she does, happy anniversary. But we went to church today. Revival kicked off, and we didn't have no water, so we kind of shortened the service a little bit, but it was still good. Brother Reese, he knows how to throw down on some preaching. We seen some people get baptized. We ate some fried chicken, and everything was good. Everything was good. And then we'll pick up tomorrow night at 6:30, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for revival. But my vacation today is my last day of my 5 days off, and now I have to go back to work tomorrow, and I'm not looking forward to that at all. But it is what it is. I'm going to take some more time off about Christmas time, because I usually always take some time off at Christmas because it's Christmas. And I already got 2 days off. I got Christmas Eve and Christmas Day off, so I might as well take a little extra, I voted the other day, so I already got that taken care of. So I don't know if that'll moot anything in my notes, but I already voted the other day. And it's just, to me, it's just not that hard of a decision, but, we'll get into it in a minute. Sticker giveaway, if you want to win a sticker, comment down below. We've had some people enter the contest already. I appreciate that, but we're going to pick a winner on next week's episode. So if you would like to be entered to win a sticker, just tell me in the comments you'd like to win a sticker. and we'll make that happen. I wish I could show you a Bible of the week, but I didn't really think about that. I would have went inside and got it, but I didn't really think about that. I guess I should have thought about that. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the main topic. We're going to call it something like Election 2020 episode or something. I don't know. We'll think of a name later. So like I said, I got over half a page of notes here we're going to talk about, and then I'm just going to go off the cuff, so to speak. I've been hearing it all election cycle. How can Christians vote for Trump, they say? First, I want to share my thoughts on Trump, because they might be a little bit different than some people you know, or maybe you perhaps are. I really don't like him. I really don't like him as much as his diehard supporters do. You know, my cousin. My cousin, she's all Trump, and you know, my old pastor, all Trump. There's a lot of people. My mother-in-law is the same way. Trump. And I don't like him as much as they do. In the 2016 primary, I voted for Ted Cruz. I didn't vote for Donald Trump. In fact, when Trump had the nomination locked up, I went and bought a sticker that was the Republican Party logo, the elephant, and I flipped it upside down and put it on my back window, because I'm like, this is the best we got. Like, we're going to elect this guy. That's the best we can do. That's how I thought at the time. I seriously even considered leaving the Republican Party because I was about had enough. Well, I've still pretty much about had enough, but my state has a close primary, and I just voted the other day to keep it a close primary, even though I don't know. I don't understand nothing anymore. Anyway, I thought Trump was just another liberal. I thought he was just a liberal pretending to be a conservative, basically. That's what I thought of him, and I'm like, I got to vote for him because I can't vote for Hillary. And, you know, as much as y'all would love, people talk about having more than two parties. That'd be nice if we had, I guess it would be nice if we had more than two parties. I don't know. But historically, whenever we've had a third party rise up, another party dies out. That's what happened in the 1860s, or before that, really. Republican Party came along with Abraham Lincoln, and they basically just absorbed the other party, and it became Republicans versus Democrats since then. So I know the Libertarian Party, it's hard to take them seriously. I do agree with them on a lot of things, but then a lot of things I just can't get on board with. Everybody's talking about Jo Jorgensen. Oh, vote Jo Jorgensen. She's the Libertarian candidate. Well, she supports abortion, so that's a no. It's not going to happen. I don't care what else she's for. If she supports abortion, I ain't down with it. Anyway, getting off track a little bit. So fast forward 4 years later, and I still have my problems with Trump, but he did, or at least he attempted to do, what he said he was going to do. Now, some things weren't really his fault. Like, I'm pretty sure the wall would be a lot further along if America hadn't voted the dang House back to the Democrats in 2018. You can't really, the House controls spending, so it's kind of hard to get things done when Democrats are going to control the House. So I don't care for the things he says, but he does the things I elected him to do for the most part. Like I said, I got problems with him. Everybody's talking about how pro-Second Amendment is. I don't think he's pro-Second Amendment at all. He hasn't done really anything for the Second Amendment. So I got problems with him there, but for the most part, he's done a pretty good job of doing what he said he was going to do. So I just say that so y'all know I'm not one of these, Trump can do no wrong Christians. He can do wrong, and he does wrong, and I'll call him out on it when he does it. And everybody else that's, drinking the Kool-Aid, Trump fans, they won't. saw when he did the bump stock ban a couple years ago, and everybody's like, well, it's just an accessory. It's not an infringement on the Second Amendment. And I'm like, you really just don't understand how this works. That's their way of just trying to defend him no matter what, even when he's wrong. And I'm like, no, this is wrong, and I'm going to call it wrong when he does wrong. But how can a Christian vote for this man? He's on his third wife. He's probably committed adultery. He's sinful. But I don't know, like, do they think none of the other presidents we ever elected before this were sinful? Just because they hit it better, I guess? I don't know. But, I mean, I hate to use the example, but remember King David, called man after God's own heart. He committed adultery and then had the woman's husband murdered. I don't think Israel was like, well, I don't know if I can vote for this guy or have him as my king. You're going to sit there and tell me that you're cool with voting for Biden, who's corrupt as the day is long. The evidence is starting to come out. And you're cool with that. And he likes to, grope and touch little children. And you're cool with that. But old Trump, no, I can't vote for him. Christians shouldn't be able to vote for him. Really? I think most conservative Christians are not going to have no problem voting for Trump. Number one, because if you think abortion is wicked and evil, as you should, as if you're a Christian, if you claim to be a Christian, and you don't think that abortion is unbiblical, or you think abortion is okay and fine, then I question your salvation. I do. So you can take that however you want to take it. But there's people, like, there's this page on Facebook I follow called Religion News Service. And the main reason I followed that page to begin was to get stories to talk about on the podcast. But boy, that's liberal Christians must love that site, because if you see their stories, first of all, when they post a story, it's liberal. And then you read the comments, nothing but liberals for the most part in the comments. And I'm like, I don't think y'all people are saved. Like, I don't. But I don't know. I'm just saying, I don't think they are. But I just don't understand how you can call yourself a Christian and be for abortion, be for homosexual marriages, and all this stuff. I just don't understand it. So how can I vote for Trump? Another knock I have on him is his support of homosexuals and homosexual marriage. But it is what it is, Abortion is going to be the main issue that gets Christians to either vote for him or not vote for him. If you think killing babies is wrong, you're not going to have no problem voting for Trump. If you think that, there's so many other things that I don't really want to say, they kind of do have something to do with the Bible, but they kind of don't. Free market economy, health care, things like that. You understand where I'm coming from? I told you this episode was going to be a mess, especially since I don't have any notes. But I'm just telling you, how can you vote for Trump if you're a Christian? It really ain't that hard. You go in the voting booth like I did. I don't know how voting is done where you are, but we have a little ballot. We get a little pen. We got to fill in the bubble next to the name. I filled in the bubble next to Trump's name. Put it in a little machine, and it took it. So I don't understand. Basically, the people asking the question, like, how can a Christian vote for Trump, are pretty much just liberals pretending to be Christian, is basically what it is. I don't know of any Bible-believing, orthodox doctrine, sound doctrine-believing Christian that's got a problem voting for Trump. Yeah? Is he perfect? No, he ain't perfect. King David wasn't perfect. Solomon wasn't perfect. No president we've ever had has been. Bill Clinton committed adultery in the White House. In the White House, and yet, they didn't seem to have no problem voting for him back then. So, how can a Christian vote for Trump? Because he stands for, even if he ain't doing it perfectly, he stands for the things we stand for. Here's what it comes down to. If you think that you're going to have religious freedom to exercise your religion under Biden, you are going to have it, but I'm saying, you think they're not going to try and limit it as much as possible? They'd get rid of it entirely if they could. Who's going to give you more freedom to exercise your religion? Now, mainly, maybe for the liberal Christians, that don't matter because they don't exercise. They're just Christian in name only. They don't actually, live out their faith. But Trump is going to give you greater religious freedom to exercise Christianity, to be a Christian the way we're supposed to be Christians. Biden's not going to do that. He's going to make it to where, we're not persecuted, but things are a little bit more difficult for us because the left and the progressives and whatnot, they don't like the Bible. It ain't progressive. So, remember a couple of years ago, that mayor, was it the mayor of Houston or something like that, who wanted pastors, to send her transcripts of their sermon so she could make sure they weren't preaching hate speech or whatever. Yeah, I think we might have even talked about it on here. I don't remember. But that's the kind of thing you can expect if you vote for Biden. This episode ain't to tell you to vote for Trump. You vote for whoever you want. I'm just telling you what you're going to get. Here comes the ice cream truck. I'm just telling you what you're going to get if you vote. I want you to know there is no perfect candidate. Neither one of these guys are perfect. Neither one of these guys are going to uphold the Constitution as it's written perfectly. They're just not going to do it. But Biden's going to do it even less. If you hate wearing a mask, guess what Biden wants you to do? A national mask mandate. So, and I know some of y'all, the liberal Christians, are all about wearing a mask, and we got to listen to these medical experts. I'm sure. It's like it doesn't occur to them that these medical experts could have bias. They think, oh, well, they're medical experts, so they must be looking out for us. Not exactly. Nobody is above bias and pushing their own agenda. Apparently, this episode is just me rambling on about stuff. I hope y'all are cool with that. But I haven't done an episode like this in a while, so it don't feel. I'm not too upset at just sitting here and rambling on about politics and whatnot. Especially since I told y'all we don't never talk about politics on here really. So it's good to just let loose sometime and just tell y'all. So like I said, I'm not Trump's biggest fan. I don't think everything he's done is, this great thing. And like sometimes he'll get credit for something. I'm like this peace deals that have been going on. Well, so and so, he brokered a peace deal between them and Israel and this country, and they were like, oh my God, Trump, the great peacemaker. And I'm like, yeah, he brokered the deal, but those countries are afraid of Iran. That's why they want this deal done. They're afraid of Iran and they want help. So he does good things. Like the tariffs he did when he first got in office. I didn't like them. I don't like tariffs. But they got the job done. He got he got trade agreements done with like Mexico and whatever countries were involved. He got trade deals done by using tariffs. So even though I disagree with tariffs, he used them to get a trade deal done. So can't fault him for that. It worked. I wish he was a little bit better on the Second Amendment. I remember the phrase that he said that everybody in gun groups I'm in talks about is take the guns first, due process later. And the gun community, a lot of them don't like him because of that. That is not how due process works. And that's a little bit scary that he would say that. But a lot of times when it comes to things he says or does, I just kind of chalk it up to he's not a constitutional scholar, you know. That's why I'd like to sit down with him and talk to him about, like, let me talk to you about what the Constitution says. But overall, I elected him. He said, I'm going to do this stuff. And I said, well, I don't believe you, but I'm going to elect you because I can't elect Hillary, and we'll see if it happens. And he did it. He did it. There's one thing about Trump that I do not question at all, and that is the fact that he loves America. I do not, like, you have to be an idiot to think otherwise. Like, it is plain as the nose on your face that the man loves America. After all, he wouldn't be who he is today if he was in some other, country. It's because of America and our freedoms and liberties and capitalism, to be honest with you, that he is who he is today. And he loves America. And so it's not hard for me to vote for a man that loves America. He's going to do his best to give me as much religious freedom as he can so that I can practice my Christianity, so I can get on here and do these podcasts and tell people about Jesus and learn them about the Bible, and we can witness to people and stuff like that. And as far as stuff in the economy, it's always going to be helpful to me and you, whether you want to admit it or not. It's going to be helpful when less of our paycheck goes to taxes and more of it goes in our bank account. So there you go. All this stuff about all these Christians that talk about he was sent by God, and all these. I've seen some memes. I just want to slap people. These memes about Jesus with his arm around Trump and whatnot. I'm like, y'all need to stop that mess. This man is a sinner and he needs to get saved. And people always talk about, well, so and so said that Trump was saved. And I'm like, listen to who so and so is. Some prosperity gospel preacher says that Trump saved. Well, I'm not really going to believe what he has to say. If you want me to believe Trump accepted Christ and got saved, I'll know when I see the way he acts change. But like I said, it's not hard if you're a Christian to vote for Donald Trump, because even though the man's a wicked sinner, like every other president we've ever had, especially Joe Biden, even though he's a wicked sinner that needs saving, he's going to do the right things. He's going to let us practice our religion. He's going to not be for abortion, and he's just going to give us a lot. Well, he's just going to do the things that benefit you as a Christian. What we want as a Christian is not for the government to do this or the government to do that. We want the government to get out of the way and let us be Christians, let us evangelize and stuff like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this because I feel like I've been rambling long enough. I just hope that the point got across to you. I'm not Trump's biggest fan, but I think he has done what he said he was going to do, and therefore I don't have no problem going and voting for him again. Of course I do. I wish there was a better candidate to vote for. Of course I do. But that's what we got, and it's way better than what the other party has to offer. So that's all I got for today. let me go ahead and try and close this podcast out without any notes. For social media links, a biography of me, your host, and a list of places you can get the podcast, you can visit the website at gospelovergimmicks.org. And if you would like to buy a t-shirt, like the one I had on last week from the Teespring store, we got red and black ones. You may do so at this link right here. If you would like to support the podcast financially, you may do so at patreon.com/gospelovergimmicks. And these are our wonderful patrons, Roger Waters, the Williams family, and Danny Fulbright. Appreciate all them individuals. They're going to help me pay for the website hosting that is coming due next month. And it ain't cheap either. I don't know. I don't remember it being that expensive when I first did it, but unless they got some kind of deal or something, I don't know. But I appreciate their help in supporting the podcast. If you got any questions, any comments, any suggestions for a show you'd like to see me do, you may email me at gospelovergimmicks@gmail.com. Also, if you listen to the podcast, you don't watch it on YouTube, you just listen to the audio, and you would like to enter to win a sticker, you can send me an email there and let me know you want to enter to win a sticker. We'll get you in there. Am I missing any links? I feel like I'm missing one. There's the Bible Fandom group, if you want to come be a part of that, and King James 1611 only group. Those are two groups I moderate. Not to mention, Gospel Over Gimmicks does have a group, although nobody does anything in there. But it does have one. Am I missing a link? I feel like I'm missing one. If I missed one, I'll put it on the screen somewhere. But if you like what you saw today, subscribe, like, share, rate, review, follow. And before we go, let me ask you, have you ever been saved? If you haven't, then I suggest you do so, because the Lord can come back at any time. And not only that, who knows what's going to happen? You step out of your driveway, you pull out of your driveway, dump truck hits your broadside and kills you, and then you'll be in hell because you ain't saved. So, if you don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, then you ought to. Because you won't regret it. Now, there's a lot of things that people can say, well, you won't regret it. Try this, you won't regret it. You won't regret getting saved, man. You won't. And it's a good feeling knowing that you're going to heaven and there ain't nothing you can do to mess it up. Okay? And that's all I got for you this week. The sweat is starting to pool on my head and drip down. So I'll go ahead and cut this loose. And sorry, Studio B is a work in progress. So, we'll get things. I don't like this microphone. Like, it's up too high. I got to find somewhere else to put the microphone. And that window glare behind me is pretty bad. But we'll get it figured out. We'll get it squared away. And Studio B will come to you from Studio B from time to time. That's all I got for you this week. Till next week, take up your cross. Carry on. Did y'all think we wasn't going to do a joyful noise segment just because we're in Studio B? We're still going to do it. We're going to sing this song that I sang in church this morning, but we're going to sing the last verse because the last verse is my favorite verse. It's called I Feel Like Traveling On. The Lord has been so good to me, I feel like traveling on. Until that blessed home I see, I feel like traveling on. Yes, I feel like traveling on. I feel like traveling on. My heavenly home is bright and fair. I feel like traveling on.